Greetings, everyone. This is me, Zahra Berserk. Uh, I cannot talk louder. I have to talk uh, in a low voice. So sorry about that. I don't know if anyone really cares or not, but I'm doing this because um, the little care that I have for women in Islam. Uh, and there will be some people here coming with good manners. Um, you might get attracted to the Muslim coming in good manners, and they might even want to break me, so that already I'm out of control. So it took me some time to get this energy subdued inside of me to control my the madness that is there. So there will be people coming here trying to break me, so I would provoke me to get really, really angry and all that, right? And because of my case, if you've known, it's very, very difficult. Like I felt like a sinner at the age of 3.5, 4 years old, uh, and I've been feeling like it was I who was the dirty one and all this. And yet there's no help. At times, I feel that there is help coming. I can, but then even in the Hindu gurus and all, I feel that they will. I'm afraid that they will take the course of Islam, right? Okay. About marriage. In In marriage, I was told that in Shia Islam, it's recommended that the wife should be ready for her husband. So, otherwise, it's not obligatory, but otherwise, we were told that Allah tells the angels to curse the wives if they don't give in to the husband. Okay, here we have various things, um, rulings for, the history of concubine in the Muslim world, um, about concubinage, right? Concubines. So you can have a look at this, and when I read about the four schools, if this is true, like some people say not to go to Wikipedia, but I look at the citations, and if this is not true, then correct me. Uh, so what is the dissenting view, and what is the majority view? Uh, so they've taken, okay, Walad, sexual consent. So classical Islamic family law generally recognized marriage and the creation of a master-slave relationship as the two legal instruments rendering permissible sexual relations between people, and classical Islamic jurists made an analogy between the marriage contract and sale of concubines. They state that the factor of male ownership in both is what makes sex lawful with both a wife and female slave. You can, the citations given here, if you can agree to it or disagree to it. You can also look at the book of Fiqh ala al-Madahib, Madahib al-Arba'a, Islamic jurisprudence according to the four Sunni schools. So if you don't believe in Wikipedia, Alaikum Assalam Salahuddin's brother. Uh, May peace and love be with you and your loved ones. I hardly have any loved ones here with me. Thank you so much. Uh, yes, may the peace be with them and with you and your family members and your wife. So there's God bless you too. So please don't get thank you. Please don't get the Islamic men coming here with good manners and all this, because once you become a wife of this, I don't think you can say no to them. No, maybe not as a wife, but a slave girl. A man having sex with someone else's a female slave constitutes zina, but that's sin. According to Imam Shafi, if someone other than, okay, you can read this, I don't know, forced conversion, practice in the Middle East. So this goes on. Where are the four schools of thought? Says that according to the followers of Imam Abu Hanifa, men own the right to sexual pleasure and are allowed to force the women sexually. According to the Hanafi school of thought, Sunni. Um, so in this book you can find, I think, and the citation is here, Al-Jaziri, 2009. So when you become a Muslim, if some Muslim man is in love with you or something, likes you, wants to marry you, be careful that, look at this, because some things we forget. We only remember the good part of Islam and not the bad part of Islam. When you want a divorce, a woman wants a divorce, until the husband gives her a divorce, uh, she cannot get a divorce. Excuse me. Yeah, so I have these bad habits and all, and I've never lived with the alim in a alim's family to know what they are all about. But they live. Some of them are alims, are very simple and all this, but very strict. You have to wear hijab and all this. So please don't just get looking at their. I know I'm bad. I have bad manners and I get angry. And they even test my patience here, which they shouldn't, because I say, please cooperate and please look at this other side of Islam too. But they won't cooperate. They will go on saying that this is right, this is right, this is right. Violence is right because it's from Allah. So when punishment is sent forth, it is from Allah, so it is right. So we have these dogmatic people. And please don't look at my behavior. Look at what I'm showing you here. I may be a very bad person since childhood, right? So my mother was bad too, and I was bad too. So both of us were bad. But look at this side. And then if a woman, I was told in Shia Islam, if she takes a divorce, that is called khula, if your husband agrees to give you a divorce, then you will lose your meher, your the money that was promised to you in the marriage contract. You will lose that. That's what I heard from the Shia side. So I know of a case that my aunt's husband was not giving her a divorce. She had a child with him. And for many, many years, no religious scholar even intervened and, go to him and talk to him that please give her the divorce so she can go on with her life now. So there's many years past, whereas the man can do muta, Shia man, but the wife is like undivorced. And he was very stubborn. He didn't want to divorce her. Finally, thank God, when in from 1982 something to 1992 or 1989, I think he came to see his daughter once, or yeah, and then he wasn't even coming to see his daughter, and no religious scholar intervened. So my aunt suffered due to that. Uh, so you can be attracted to the good manners of Muslims, and you can see my bad manners here. There was a okay, according to the Sunni schools, the Imam followers of Imam Abu Hanifa, men own the right to sexual pleasure and are allowed to force the women sexually. Is this about slave girls? Ali also states that Hanafis allow the husband to forcefully have sex with his wife if she did not have wife. So this is a wife, a full-fledged wife marriage. If she did not have a legitimate reason to refuse sex. So I'm doing this. I'm not good, but help me, help me cooperate, please. And do not put obstacles here, because as it is, it's very hard. I couldn't come earlier. My morale was broken, and negativity was inside of me. There was madness, energy. I can't explain properly here now. So if I would request you to please cooperate, use your reason, and look at all the things from the hadith also about whether you want this when you marry a Hanafi, Sunni, from the Sunni school, right? Is this then, was it changed? I don't know. You can read further on in Wikipedia, and you can please check the citations also, and if this is correct in your Hanafi school of thought. I just have to do a very smart kind of research, because I don't even have the strength to fully read. So I don't know what's the later fatwa on this, or whether it was abrogated. So please keep your eyes open, know everything about Islam. So there are very different viewpoints here. Another viewpoint is of Rab Intisar, who argues that according to the Quran, sexual relations with a concubine were subject to both parties' consent. Similarly, Tamara Son writes that consent of a concubine was necessary for sexual relations. However, Ali calls such assertions surprising and notes that such views are not found in any pre-modern classical Islamic legal text, as there is no discussion about the topic of consent. Jonathan Brown argues that modern conception of sexual consent only came about since the 1970s, so it makes little sense to project it backwards onto classical Islamic law. Brown notes that pre-modern Muslim jurists rather applied the harm principle to judge sexual misconduct, including between a master and concubine. So there are these different views. My disposition is not in this. I pray that I keep away from Islam and God keeps me away from this religion forever, and I find better ways and my own contemplations to live my life, uh, not only for my own good but for the good of others too. He further states that historically concubines could complain to judges if they were being sexually abused, and that scholars like al-Bahuti require a master to set his concubine free if he injures her during sex. So I had to come out open like this for you women, girls in Islam. Now that we have all this information, um, a reminder to you all. Let's see what now the Imam Shafi school says. A man having sex with someone else's female slave constitutes zina. According to Imam Shafi, if someone other than the master coerces a slave girl to have sex, the rapist will be required to pay compensation to her master. If a man marries off his own female slave and has sex with her, even though he is then no longer allowed to have sexual intercourse with her, that sex is still considered a lesser offense than zina. And the jurists say he must not be punished. If a man marries off his own female slave and has sex with her, even though he is then no longer allowed to have sexual intercourse with her, that sex is still considered a lesser offense than zina, and the jurists say he must not be punished. So if you allow this and you go you encourage, you then go for the Islam, up to you, but I need to bring this out in the open. It is noteworthy that while formulating this ruling, it is the slave woman's marriage and not her consent which is an issue. Forced conversions, on that, Islam prohibited sexual relations between Muslim men and pagan female captives. So this is okay, good. In the early Muslim period, this appeared to delegitimize Muslim captors who wished to form relationships with female captives. To resolve this, coercion into Islam was tacitly permitted. So tacitly they can permit, and coercion into Islam tacitly, like someone very good in manners and things, tacitly permitted. So it's still coercion, but tacitly permitted. So please, look at this lady's good behavior and all this of Muslims. Don't get enamored by that. You see, if God wants to wake you up and hit you, like someone was saying, I was at on YouTube darshan. So to make you realize, hit you with a stick. As long as that God, you become God realized and you realize that God is in your heart, it's okay, right? But if you're like God coerces you and hits you and all that, so that you do your prayers, and that's like you apply these methods of discipline, very strong, strict methods on yourself, forcing, then that's not good. But I think through the Shia, you can never become one with God, God realized or something like that. You can only realize that there is a true one God through all the things like Tawheed, namaz, fasting, prayer, fasting, Hajj, Roza, Zakat, Homs. And through the Al Bayt. Although God says He's nearer to you than your jugular vein, so He listens to you. I don't know what the Shias would say about this. Hassan al-Basri recalled that Muslims achieved this objective through various methods, including pointing a pagan slave girl towards the Kaaba, ordering them to recite the Shahada and perform an ablution. So other scholars, I'm sorry, this is terrible. Other scholars specified that slave girls must be taught to pray and perform ablutions by themselves before being considered eligible for sexual relations. So there's no perspective of, not that I can see of, from the Shia side. What is the modernist views? You can see all this, read it, and educate yourselves, and then decide if you want to go into become Muslims and remain Muslims. Oh, so many views of modernists and things, the classical ones, classical view, all four law schools also have a consensus that the master can marry off his, what's that other one before this? Hina Azam notes that in Islamic law, coercion within marriage or concubinage may be repugnant, but it remained fundamentally legal. Fundamentally legal. So this is the Allah you want, and this is the Islam you want. I just want to, because just want to show you and share with you. So according to Ex-Shia Ali, jurists define zina, okay, between a man and a woman who is neither is one. No, this is not important here. Those seldom discuss forced sex with one's wife might, or depending on the circumstances, might not be an ethical infraction, and conceivably even a legal one like assault if physical violence is involved. One might speculate that the same is true of forced sex with the slave. This scenario is never, however, illicit in the jurist's conceptual world. Now we have jurists, right, in Islam. This scenario is never on screen, but I'm not that well behaved. I'm very badly behaved. Ooh, sorry, excuse me. Having a regression, a meltdown. Sexual consent. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Offspring, Hanafi, Jewish state. Okay, this is about Walid was the title given to the slave concubine in the Muslim world after she had born her master a child. Now you see, as a Muslim, maybe you are your husband has many wives, and you can be generous because Islam wants you to be generous with the other wives and all this, right? So that is there. But don't forget the rulings. Those good wives, you can, that's up to you. Like you have to be a good Muslim, so be a good wife, and cooperate with one another. Sexual commodities. Female slaves were in some historical periods not allowed to cover themselves in the fashion of free women. The Caliph Omar prohibited slave girls from resembling free women. This is the Caliph. You would say, the Shias would say this. So I don't know however you believe in this. Hanafi school scholars did not allow the exposure of a female slave's body, including chest or back. But Marni writes they allowed this in the case of potential male buyers. Amira Benison writes that during the apposite period, male buyers could not in practice examine female slaves except her face and hands, but could request her examination by other women. So sorry, it's very hard for me, but I still came here to tell you what I found, to share with you this. And there is some energy here. I'm very susceptible to these energies. So as I'm losing, because the Muslims have, even the Christians, they come here, and you could find me so badly behaved and shouting and all this, since even a Christian did not cooperate with me. So I apologize for that, the shouting and all. And I really have no patience. So if you would not use your tactics as such with me and be very honest and outright and use your reason and be look at Islam as a whole, like what is the history of concubines, so that you are aware of everything before you know, go into this. And if you're in this and you want out after reading this, like I do, I mean, I would want good luck to you. And sorry, I can't go to the Shia site because the Shias have this thing of coming from their Imam Ali. And once I proved that, to myself, I proved that Imam Ali, that Rasulullah was not a true prophet. So Imam Ali, coming from his cousin and son-in-law, I cannot trust what Imam Ali says because it would be prejudiced. since Imam Ali was very faithful to Prophet Muhammad. So I cannot trust in his Prophet Muhammad's progeny. So I started to look at what the hadiths of the Umayyads also, and Ibn Ishaq and all this on, uh, you know, other matters, history about the Jews and all. Oh, so this, and I did my own research, and I wouldn't listen to other people, even the Shia expert, Quran experts, and all that. So I also please check if how is it if you want to for the about for the Shias, you know, whether if a husband wants to sleep with her and she doesn't want to, it's is it what does it say that the angels? What is it the same for uh, the Shias as it is for the Sunnis about this? That it's bad. The angels, one hadith I read that the angels curse the wife. I don't know. All night. Where is that? No, no, wait a minute. I saw something. Like you can force your, if a wife, so please read this. If a wife, a Muslim wife, doesn't, I can't do more of this, but, oh, uh, so I came to Fadak here. I don't know. I can't rely on just the Shias. I have to do my own research, right? So this was, how was it given to the daughter of Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad? So if you think this is your God and he's right, and some Muslim women are also very strict and, you know, just they just do not see women's rights in Islam. There is some evidence that Muhammad gifted his share. What is this? It was thus considered fay and belonged to Muhammad in line with verse Surah 59, verse 6 of the Quran. There is some evidence that Muhammad gifted his share of Fadak to Fatima in Medina when verse Surah 17, verse 26 was revealed. Ayah 26 was revealed. And her agents managed the property when Muhammad was alive. This is the view of Shia authors, including Al-Kulaini and Al-Ayashi. Among Sunnis, Al-Suyuti and Al-Dahabi are of this view, while Al-Jurjani and Ibn Kathir are uncertain whether the verse was revealed to Muhammad in Medina. The revenue of Fadak largely supported needy travelers, the poor military expeditions, and Muhammad's family, who were forbidden from receiving general alms. Caliphate of Abu Bakr, confiscation of Fadak. What else is important here? So this, in the 7th century CE, the Khyber oasis was inhabited by Jewish tribes who made their living growing date palm trees. The oasis was divided into 3 regions, namely Natat, Al-Natat, Al-Shiq, and Al-Qatiba, probably separated by natural diversions, such as the desert, lava drifts, and swamps. Each of these regions contained several fortresses or redoubts, containing homes, storehouses, and stables. Each fortress was occupied by a clan and surrounded by cultivated fields and palm groves. To improve their defensive capabilities, the fortresses were raised up on hills or basalt rocks. Lifetime of Muhammad. So I read this. Oh no. After the success of Muslims in the Battle of Khyber in 628, the Jewish inhabitants of Fadak pleaded for. So here we're told that it's the Jewish inhabitants of Fadak pleaded for a peace treaty in exchange for half of their properties. They pleaded to Muhammad for a peace treaty. It says pleaded, I don't know. And this is the citation, Sajadi, 2018. Unlike Khyber, Fadak was acquired peacefully because the Jewish inhabitants of Fadak pleaded for a peace treaty. So I don't think, there are various views and classical Islam, and then the Shias have their own view, and the Sunnis have their own view, and different. So there are these different views. I don't think I can trust any of them. I don't even know what life is about right now. I have to search my life, what it's about, and how to live it, rather than read all this history thing. So I started with this because I was keen to find out the truth, and I departed from Islam because it's not. I was searching for something that would fully satisfy me, and there would be no doubt about what I find. And then I can align myself to the divine laws peacefully, and find treatment for my diseases and all, mental illness, peacefully. Any kind of sin I have or wrongdoing I do, I find it peacefully and embark upon it peacefully. And peace is the way. So if there are religions and they have their strict laws. When I started to read Jiddu Krishnamurti, I realized that I can, it might take years and years, and maybe I will never come to it. But I embarked upon that peaceful thing. So if some wrong happens in my life, if I do wrong to myself, correct that. I'll try my best, and to others also. If I do wrong, wanting to correct myself, feeling guilty, and wanting to correct myself, and the guilt is the punishment that I get. But I want to correct myself. However, there's so many views in this, and the Shias will say, perhaps, no, it shouldn't be written like this, you know what I mean? That the Jewish inhabitants of Fadak pleaded for a peace treaty. This says a lot to me. So when I read Surah Fatah, you see, my way of research was not to deceive you or to make you say that. When I saw it, I was like very concerned. Please leave Islam and all this, I keep saying, right? But now coming to terms that there will be, what can I do? I can just tell you, but I cannot force you. It's for you. And I will not cheat you or deceive you. So, even with good manners, like you must know completely about this religion, there are various views and all this. And also when I looked at, so my type of research was, oh my God, this person doesn't seem to be a true prophet. And so, I retreated from this religion and I started to share my what I see, my insights into the Quran ayats. However, I got it's like against all odds because you see, you have Imam Zain al-Abidin, the Psalms of Zain al-Abidin, the fourth Imam of the 12 Shias, and many things like Hussein's sacrifice. I was like, how am I going to do this? But even in this mental condition, I was like, I don't know how I've reached this far. And I was going to opt out recently. So I've come here with a quivering thing, like I'm not sure, and with a quivering, not confident. Uh, I see a man saying things to me, trying to, I don't know what they did. They thought I did something wrong and they put some jinn inside of me um, without my consent. I don't know if that is allowed in Islam. So since then I started to feel there's a man. I'm possessed. A jinn. So I had to depart from Shia. Okay, back here, I had to depart from Shia ways and thought, taking it through Ahl Bayt only. And I started to seep through the Quran ayats. And I'm not a Christian, like, so where there is no something like I got very angry at a Christian here because I don't see uh, that Prophet Muhammad had sex with Prophet Muhammad slept doesn't mean that he had sex, right? With Fatima bint Asad. Now, if I went down, if I was there when Miss Tissa's body was being buried, in my obsession for Miss Tissa, my teacher, who was separated from me for a long time, I could have jumped in the grave, trespassed, and and slept there, like in the grave. So it doesn't mean that I had, God forbid, like sex with her. But this Christian, as he was leaving, no, I was timing him out here, and when before, like another time he came, and in the end he said that there, in Arabic, it's written there. Did Muhammad lie with his foster mother in the grave, lay down to have sex? It is often used to mean, so in Arabic, if, let's see what this site says. This is from a hadith, Sunni hadith, refuting the Christian lie of Prophet Muhammad having sex with a dead body. This is a refutation to that moron in the pic who is throwing the filthy allegations on our beloved Prophet. The allegation is that Prophet Muhammad had sex with Fatima bint Asad when she was dead. It is a nonsensical and a malicious claim, which is gaining some popularity amongst the aberrations on the internet. So if they can give me the hadith and then word by word of the Arabic hadith translated, narrated by Ibn Abbas. Let's see. I, Muhammad, put on her my shirt that she may wear the clothes of heaven, and I slept with her in her coffin, grave, that I may lessen the pressure of the grave. She was the best of Allah's creatures to me after Abu Talib. Yes, I heard that Prophet Muhammad loved her a lot and respected her. She was Imam Ali's mother. So Abu Talib took great care of him because he was an orphan at a very young age. And his Ali's mother also fought. This is Fatima bint Asad. The Prophet was referring to Fatima, the mother of Ali. Okay, can we look at the context, the explanation? Firstly, the translation. Here it is. Thank God. Context and explanation. Firstly, the translation of I slept does not best convey the meaning based on the context. The Arabic word translated as I slept is id daja. This word can either mean lie down, lie, recline, repose. I hope you have noticed within the list of definitions, lie down, lie, recline, repose, the word sleep or sex does not appear. Lane's lexicon does indicate it can refer to sleeping too, lay upon his side, or he laid his side upon the ground, and simply he lay and he slept. Though the word can refer to sleep, I have seen no indication in Lane's lexicon, nor the other dictionary, which indicates the word means sex. I will elaborate on this later on in this paper, whilst discussing Father Zachariah's bizarre and fallacious interpretation of the narration. So we are left with the question, did Muhammad sleep or lie in the grave? The context explains it all. As it was a grave, we realize the word cannot possibly mean sleep, but rather it means lie, lay in the grave. This actually makes sense with the other bits of context we have at our disposal. When the grave was prepared, Muhammad himself examined it and placed her into the grave. Thus, it is reasonable to think the examination procedure also involved Prophet Muhammad lying in the grave. This would not have been at length in terms of duration time. Therefore, we realize Prophet Muhammad simply laid in the grave to make sure it was comfortable for his deceased foster mother, as well as to honor the lady, as it would be seen as a fabulous honor to be resting in a place where a prophet of God had previously laid. Did Muhammad lie with his foster mother, Fatima bint Asad, in the grave? It does not appear so, as the process of examining the grave would have been prior, before lowering Fatima bint Asad. into the grave. Let me see what the hadith says again. I, Muhammad, put on her my shirt, that she may wear the clothes of heaven, and I slept with her in her coffin. So partially, I think they're lying. Uh, it's with her. So now you see how now the Muslims have. So teaches them a good lesson, right? That the Christians. Now, did Muhammad lie? The hadith is saying that he slept with her in the grave, right? So here is where I depart from these people and their explanations. Little bit, you can't trust them. Where's this hadith? Narrated Ibn Abbas. For the whole year I had the desire to ask Umar. Where's this about Sorry, I'm losing my strength here. But I have to find this hadith. Where is it? Hadith? I can't find this hadith there. So where is it? Slept in the grave of Fatima bint Asad. So some of the Sunni Muslim scholars, they lie, even Shias. Really, I cannot believe this. I mean, yeah, it is believable, but I'm still shocked. Did Muhammad lie with his foster mother? Where's the... Oh, my goodness. Can't find the hadith. Let's see if Wikipedia gives it. And please consider this, right? Who brought raising Muhammad, giving birth to Ali, second woman to embrace Islam. Death. Fatima bint Asad died. It is narrated by Anas bin Malik that when Muhammad learned that Fatima had died, he went to her house to sit beside her body and prayed her funeral prayers. Citation needed. So there's no citation here. He then gave his shirt to be incorporated into her shroud and personally helped inspecting her grave and placing her in it in the Jannat al-Baqi cemetery in Medina. What is the citation here now? Allama Majlisi Hayatul Qulub. Oh God, I wouldn't go there. About she married her patern. So I think they take it from the Sirat or I don't know Hadith that's there. From the Sunni Hadith. So there are some ridiculous Sunni Hadiths, no doubt about that. But can you blame the Umayyads? I don't think now I can blame the Umayyads. Oh, death of Fatima. This is according to the Shia now. Oh God. When Fatima bint Asad was buried, Muhammad Mustafa repeated Allahu Akbar 40 times and prayed, "O God, put her in the light and fill her heart with light." Muhammad Mustafa was the executor of the last will and testament of Fatima bint Asad. Last will, God help. Okay, remember, so it doesn't say that he slept in the grave of Fatima bint Asad. That's but dear Sunnis, do you not see that I'm even departing from this evil man and his progeny, their hadiths, because they're prejudiced. The Imams, evil, also with him. And actually I believe in Abu Bakr the polytheist and Umar the polytheist. And can you see that even like how much they say, oh, parda, parda, parda. Even now, after Khomeini coming, the Shias have been so much on this parda fear that before my grandaunt didn't do that kind of parda that now after Khomeini it started hijab. So maybe because we were Ismailis from my mother's side, so it was still there in us. The Ismailis way that His Highness Khan III had stopped this parda thing, hijab. So, and do you realize that Khadija, the wife of Prophet Muhammad, was, how could she be in parda? Because this ayat on parda comes from where? O wives, O women of the Prophet. Let's see. You are not like any other women. When did the Prophet, the God, Allah realize that now the wives of the Prophet are not like any other women? Because I don't think Khadija bin Khuwailid was doing hijab. So if you look at the adoption, and before that, like God changed the adoption thing that the polytheists were practicing, and so were the Muslims when they were polytheists. And now, since they have become Muslims, so the adoption ways changed in Islam. You can see in Surah Azab. O wives, so now here we have a 32 verse of Surah Azab. O wives of the Prophet, you are not like any of the other women, provided that you keep from disobedience to God in reference. So is this the verse where it says, your speech, this is the one that says be strict in your speech. O wives of the Prophet, you are not like any one among women. If you fear Allah, then do not be soft in speech, lest he in whose heart is disease should covet, but speak with appropriate speech. So this, oh God. So when Khadija was not in hijab, right? When hijab, I think, go in inside your home, abide in your houses, 33 verse, and abide in your houses, and do not display yourselves. So this is after Khadija passed away, his wife, Prophet Muhammad's wife. So the Shias, do you realize, Shias, that Hazrat Khadija Khuwailid bint Khuwailid was not in hijab. Just that I'm angry because I'm hurt. I just don't see the... and Fatima was born of Khadija. And this verse had not come down. You can see because the adoption verse comes down, change in adoption, way of adoption, and you can see now. But now you do not realize, like when I'm doing my research, I'm realizing now. I just recently realized that Khadija was not, Fatima's mother was not in hijab. Abide in your houses and do not display yourselves, as was the display of the former times of ignorance. As was the display of the former times of ignorance. Now, former times of ignorance, Khadija was there too at the former time. And this would make you think that Khadija started to wear her hijab. But was Khadija bint Khuwailid there? Let's find out through the Sunni tafsir. First, and then multilingual Quran. The word karna, original derived from karar. Settle down, stick firmly, live peacefully, sit with dignity. In both the cases, the verse means to impress that the woman's real sphere of activity is her home. She should carry out her functions with that sphere peacefully, and she should come out of the house only in case of a genuine need. This meaning is clear from the words of the verse itself and the Prophet's Salahuddin, are you here? Do you allow your daughters, your wife, to go out? God knows he's gone. She should carry out her functions within that sphere peacefully, and she should come out of the house only in case of a genuine need. This meaning is clear from the words of the verse itself and the prophets. Ahadith also impress it even more forcefully. Hafiz Abu Bakr Bazar has related on authority of Anas that women made a submission to the Prophet, saying all kinds of virtues have been secured by the men. They fight and accomplish great deeds in the way of Allah. What should we do that we may also get a reward equal to that of the warriors? The Prophet replied, the one who sits in her house from among you will retain the reward of the warriors. What he meant was the warrior can fight confidently and with full peace of the mind in the way of Allah only when he is sure that all is well at home. His wife is there to look after the house. When comes of her house, Satan stares at her. She's closer to Allah's mercy when she's inside her house. Surah Nur, Ayat 31. In the presence of such a clear and express command of the Quran, it is not at all permissible that the Muslim women should seek membership of the councils and parliaments, that they should run after social activities outside the house, that they should work side by side with men in the government offices, should get education along with boys in the colleges, but there should be like what do you call that, segregation, serve as nurses in the male wards of hospitals, should be employed as hostesses in the airplanes and rail cars, and should be sent abroad for education and training. The greatest argument, so it is, so one coming that mullahs, Mukesh used to. So this is from the Sunni Hadiths, a tafsir about this ayat. The greatest argument that is given in support of the permissibility of the women's outdoor activities is that Aisha had taken part in the battle of the Jamal. But the people who were present, but the people who present this argument perhaps do not know what was Aisha's own opinion in this regard. Abdullah bin Ahmad bin Hanbal has related in his Zawaid as Zuhud, and Ibn Mandar, Ibn Abi Shayba, and Ibn Sa'd in their own books the tradition from Masraq, saying that when Aisha during her recitation of the Quran would reach this verse, she would start crying involuntarily, so much so that her head wrapper would become wet, for this reminded her of the error that she had committed in the Battle of Jamal. Oh my goodness. Jesus. Oh, so, my goodness. In this verse, two important words have been used, which must be understood for the proper understanding of its intention. They are tabarruj and jahilat al-ula. The word tabarruj in Arabic means to become manifest and appear openly before others. The Arabs use the word baraj for every conspicuous and elevated object. Burj. A burj tower is so called because of its prominence and elevation. Okay, this and so the face, what it means really, whether they should not show, what they should conceal and what they should not conceal. This is that a woman should make herself conspicuous by display of her body and dress to attract. That a woman should reveal, says, so you can read this. The word jahalat has been used at 3 other places in the Quran besides this, about who shirk, fighting the way of Allah, about those who shirk. They begin to cherish to their desire. So all this you can, but I want to see if Hazrat Khadija was alive when this ayat came out. Uh, doesn't say anything. So let me see. And Hazrat Khadija bint Khuwailid. According to Ibn Abi Hatim, once Aisha was asked about Ali, she said, "Do you ask me about the person who was among the most loved ones of the Prophet, whose wife was the Prophet's daughter and most beloved to him?" Then related it, called Ali and Fatima and Hassan and Hussein, and covered them with a sheet of cloth and prayed. Related some traditions, the Prophet did not cover Aisha and Salama under the sheet of cloth. Yes, because household, because they were not their household. It means that wives were already included in Ahl al-Bayt. So this a section of the people have not only misconstrued this verse to the extent that they have made the word Ahl al-Bayt exclusively applicable to Ali, Fatima and their children, to the exclusion of the wives, but have gone even further and concluded wrongly from its words. Allah only intends to remove uncleanliness from you and purify you completely. That Ali, Fatima and their children are infallible, like the prophets of Allah. They say that uncleanliness implies error and sin. And as Allah says, these Ahlul Bayt have been purified of this. Whereas the words of the verse do not say that uncleanliness has been removed from them and they have been purified. But the words are to the effect Allah intends to remove uncleanliness from you and purify you completely. The context also does not tell that the subject here is to mention the virtues and excellences of the Prophet's household. On the contrary, they have been advised here what they should do and what they should not, because Allah intends to purify them. In other words, they have been told that if they adopted such and such an attitude and way of life, they will be blessed with cleanliness, otherwise not. Because about, okay, I don't know, but this, I just wanted to see if Khadija was alive, but I don't know when this ayat came into. Now going to multilingual Quran. So please don't kill people if they leave, or punish them if they leave this religion, and if they share with you, because their view is that this religion is very dangerous. So you tell us, if you ask us why we're doing this, we're going to give you the reason, right? Why we are doing this. Because why would you force convert people? Why would you coerce and use tactics to convert and defend your religion and kill apostates or punish them in some way, or be stern with them when one of the family members says that I have left Islam, or excommunicate them or disown them. What's your reason for doing this? So we have a reason and you have a reason. We are asking you Muslims to give that freedom to others and not punish them by your methods, your Islam. Even those non-Muslims who criticize this religion, let them criticize the religion and not punish them for blasphemy or insulting this religion. And do you not think that at that time the polytheist fabric, their society was shattered? And the Jews also of Yathrib, because the new religion had come up for them. They may have not seen Prophet Muhammad in their Torah. And there was another person named Muhammad who was a false prophet, I think. So how can you say this was the true prophet? Maybe he who was saying I is the prophet, maybe he was one of the true prophets. And what does Mustafa, Jawaria's, I think, husband's name, who was killed, was Mustafa? So Mustafa means the chosen one. And so Muhammad Mustafa, this Muhammad Mustafa, may not have been the chosen one. And I feel there's been a lapse of proper research done about this religion and the Quran ayats. And I'm not saying it like that. I'm very serious about this. Obedience to Allah's law sums up all duties. The first command in this verse, stay in your houses, was violated by Aisha when she went to Iraq to organize a mischievous campaign against Ali, about whom the Holy Prophet said, "O Ali, you are to me as Harun was to Musa. You are my brother in this world and the hereafter. Your flesh is my flesh, your blood is my blood. You and me are from one and the same light." In his sermon at Khadir Khomsi, commentary of Maida 67, he invoked Allah to be a friend of those who loved Ali and be an enemy of those who opposed Ali. Bukhari recorded in the chapter what happened, wives, while delivering. I would like to know if this verse came down when Khadija was alive. So was she covered when she was the Prophet's wife now? Salma, a verse was revealed, blanket, mantle. Jamal, Aisha. So, since you would say that since now this verse has come down, even if Khadija bint Khuwaylid was the mother of Fatima, was not covering herself, it was okay. But you see, it gives a bad name. It says, not only does it say that now you go inside, but again, every practice of the polytheists was wrong. The display, dazzling display, like that of the former times of ignorance. You see this? Former times of ignorance. Now, you would want to know why Khadija, when she was the Prophet's wife, this verse had not come down as yet. So Khadija was not like this, right? Covered. This verse comes after Khadija's death. So again, let me see Jahalat in the Quran ayat, Surah Azab, verse 33. Sorry, I'm very slow. I know that I will not win in this to maybe save some of you from religion. Find other way for yourself. If you can see it, if I can show you. So I'm here for you, ladies, brothers, sisters, who can see this. But how are you going to leave Islam? Because there is, you would be scared. Your husband may not like it, your father may not like it, your mother may not like it. You don't have the freedom. Even if you don't tell anyone, if you tell your mother, you might be punished. God knows how your mother's disposition is, or your family members. So let's see now here, Jahiliyat, ignorance, times of ignorance, former times of ignorance. So what was the date when this ayat came? You see, that's why I feel what I am trying to look for, I hardly get. So, and maybe even in this verse, the Shias and Sunnis, the Shias with, I think they came, I don't know, they were with the Sunni way, but the Ismailis depart. They, I don't know how it is, but one time the Sunni and the Shias united in Azhar University. They had a discussion and all about this, and so the Sunnis did take the Shias as a school of thought of Islam, but Ismailis were not present there. So at one time the Sunnis did unite with the Shias on that matter, where they said that we accept that you are one of the Islamic schools of thought. I think it happened in Egypt, Azhar, Cairo, Azhar University. So then, like, for example, as I'm just showing you my way of research and the way I find out and I don't get answers like that. So trying to search for it in my condition, and who would give me the answer? A Shia would give me an answer. Should I go to a Shia? Should I go to a Sunni? History, if someone can make it easy, but no one made it easy for me. Even seeing that some of the uh, uh, Christians who are here on YouTube, I have to recheck and again recheck because some of the things that they've lied on, is that sleeping in the grave means having sex with the dead body in the grave, like that, for example. So they've made my, like, I can't trust many people. Actually, we can't trust anyone because we don't know nowadays, if the Shias, if Islam doesn't succeed in this way, then they might try to invest in another way, give donations to those gurus even. I'm telling you, in India, Hindu, they will try to get them, Hindus even. They will use every tactic. And I can see here, I get angry. They're not going to give me like people cooperating, coming here, cooperating with me. Very few. So I can see it here, and they want to provoke me, or, in a way, show me bad. I don't know what you can't trust anyone. So maybe tomorrow I'll die, maybe tonight. I can't even breathe properly. I get headaches every day. So I don't know when I will die. But before I die, and now, I see the Muslims winning from every side. And so my prospects of showing you the truth are very low, because if they don't get me executed, it's up to the heads of these Shia and Sunni leaders and, marjas. They could get me killed, but since they gave me time, they feel like this is their duty, right? Because they're Muslims, to kill me or give me a hard time. They have been given the license by God to do this. So anyone who leaves their religion, if they don't give them a hard time, kill them, or give them a hard time and confine her without her knowledge. Or, a zabardasti, like maybe want to get me married to a Muslim guy because it is the sunnah. By hook or by crook, like keep me here as a, Muslim. My goodness, height of arrogance. Like they think this is the religion, the truth. Anyone who leaves this religion, kill them or confine them or harass them. This is the way they please their God, Allah. Or, like stop them from doing wrong. It's like apply jabr, force zulm on them, do oppress them, punish them. This is the way of like reforming someone. Reformative ways is like use force. Or, put so much in it that corner me so much that I say, okay. Watching, feeling, oh, I hope I find an Arab, maybe widowed or someone who I must get married. Forcing, tacitly, covertly. So now Khadija, was she Did this verse come out when Khadija was married to Prophet Muhammad and she also had to, oh God, cover up now? So then why does your Allah say Huwailid? So I don't know. Malik also left Khadija widow, Shia version. Khadija subsequently proposed to Muhammad. Considering intellectual situation in Hijaz, the high position and status Khadija the Kubra enjoyed among other people, it is improbable that she would have married men from Banu Tamim or Banu Makhzum. Some believe the two children attributed to Khadija were the children of Hala, Khadija's sister. After the death of Hala's husband, Khadija took care of Hala, and after Hala's own death, Hala's children. Marriage to Muhammad, named Nafis approached Muhammad. So Khadija was a polytheist when this friend of mine was at my that Khadija was such a business woman and this and that. I thought to myself that she's saying too much about businesswoman Khadija was, and I know that Khadija was the mother of Fatima and how Fatima lived afterwards. But when I thought about it, I thought, Zahra, but Khadija was a polytheist or like pagan time, right? Before she married Muhammad, she was a businesswoman, and then Sayyid Yusuf Zadi told me that she gave all her wealth for to Prophet Muhammad for Islam. But before that, before marrying Prophet Muhammad, she was a businesswoman. So why do you Muslims feel so much pride that Khadija was such a businesswoman? You're a Muslim, as a Muslim woman, you can be a businesswoman. And all this. My goodness, how much of your brain is your brainwashed? Please give right due to the put, where it's due, like for the sake of. But how much of the things you are blind to, you have a blind spot that you can't see? That Khadija, you're giving all that importance to Islam because Islam did not make Khadija that high a businesswoman. Islam later told the wives of the Prophet also to go in the house. Remain in your houses. According to the traditional Sunni narrative, when Muhammad reported his first revelation, first to accept truth, after his experience in the cave of Hira, Muhammad returned home to Khadija. So, how were they married? Anyways, this I have to read. Shia side is that Muhammad knew he was a prophet and he got married to Khadija. Abu Talib read the nikah Aqad. And they were all Muslims now. Khadija died in Ramadan of the year 10 after the prophethood. Okay, 10 years after prophethood. Muhammad later called this 10th year the year of sorrow, as his uncle and protector Abu Talib also died at this time. Khadija is said to have been about 65 years old at the time of her death. She was buried. So, Surah Ahzab. Let's see the date of Surah Ahzab. Which year of Islam did it come? I think most probably after the death of Khadija. So then, again, Battle of the Trench, so known as the Battle of the Parties and as the Siege of Medina. So it takes its name from the mention of the parties of Al-Ahzab, confederates. See, it just says Madinan Surah. It contains instructions regarding treatment of the Prophet and his wives. It's a Medina now, so maybe before before Prophet Muhammad, or was it? I think it was after the death of Khadija that this verse came out. So please don't impose your religion, what you think is best for others. Or God has said in this Quran that is best for others. You want to control people as a father or a brother or a mother, as a parent. You want to control your children or something, because these religions have a lot of control, rather than giving the other person the freedom to choose their lives as they would like to live, and to give them the truth in the most beautiful, peaceful way. You see, some people cannot read the Quran properly, ayats. I could have, lost my, depreciated and deteriorated, and so I could have gone into the hands of someone like Salahuddin and started to say, yes, some blind person or cannot read the Quran, a blind Muslim or deaf, or, so you could deceive and impose your religion on others like that without giving them the freedom and showing them. If the person is blind, how would they understand the Quran? Okay, you're explaining to them, and who is explaining to them? From your side, there are differing views, even amongst the Muslims, about the Quran ayats and the hadiths and the tafsirs. There are many, many, many. Why have your whole life wasted on, if doing research and studying on this? There are many differing views also. And then what you do is giving it to people who are mentally challenged. You're just making them gulp the, putting it, shoving it in the mouth through the throats. and you're deceiving them, forcing them to accept this by deception, by your own way, by coaxing. Oh, I don't think there's violent verses, but there are some good verses too. Look at that. And the Shia way, look at the good verses. And it is God who created us, so He can punish us. It is this God, the true God. And if He has these punishments, then it must be for our betterment. We will, and coercion, forcing. So it must be in the Bible that Muhammad is a true prophet, mentioned in the Bible. So embrace this Islam. It's the best religion. If you don't, then you are the worst creatures. So you see, because in Surah Bayyina it does say that they are the worst creatures. So for you, this is your religion. You won't allow you won't allow your children to. I don't know why you would be concerned here about me wanting to, learn here from me and come in a very good. But I haven't lived with you. I don't know anything. Just let's say someone says salam, peace, this, that. But would you really? Can I trust you? Because I can't even trust my own shadow. Can I trust you? Since do you really care for my health and all this? Are you really? Can I see the honesty in you? No, I don't see honesty in you. You go back to your, when I give you the Quran ayats, you tell me no, look at the hadiths or read the whole Quran. So I cannot trust you. My loved ones, meaning who? What if what if I'm a lesbian? What are you going to say about that? Right? Or what if I call a principal my mother and, or I just, there's something went wrong there. And what if I need to have a session with hypnosis. So you're not really saying that you want me to be with my loved one or this and that. Do you really mean it, or are you trying to cajole me in this? Cajoling. My principal used this word. Let me see what it means. I think it means by, putting your hand on persuade, by coaxing or flattery, maneuver, get around, prevail, beguile, flatter, tempt, entice, sweet talk, meetable, sweet talk someone. If you really mean it, then you will go out of your way. But be happy. I've heard that a lot. But then you're going to impose the way you want to be happy on others. What is your definition of happiness? You will impose on others. I've also seen that happen. So I do get angry. I'm very maybe God has given you, the light, the peace you feel, and so can you see human women's rights in Islam? I'm not talking about those women who are in Islam. What a lie! Completely independent personality. No, no, she's not completely independent. She's dependent on her father. She's half of the witness in some ways to men. If she was completely independent personality, oh my goodness, what a lie here. It is so shocking. Who are you? You can't fool me. And please, women, girls, if you ever hear this, sisters, this is a lie of Islam. And see, because they're going to come here as Christians, some Shias, and and they're going to show you. They're going to provoke me here, and I will shout because empaths, I get angry, right? And I tell you, there are some covert narcissists who can behave themselves. They're very cool. So this also, and so I don't mean that my God is going to come and kick you or slam you or deface you, completely deface you. But, like efface you. No, no, no. You be there. Be as my adversary. But please, make your life beautiful. Once you've made your life beautiful, it will have an effect on other people, your surroundings. So give the other person freedom. And also we can slowly, what I can do is show you that value that, for example, in that Jiddu Krishnamurti, what he saw, and one time he couldn't see the news because there was some oppression happening. So he had to turn his face away. I read some place about Jiddu Krishnamurti. It's happening now even, and it's happening amongst the Muslims also, and it's happening in Muslim families also. So we can't. So I went to seeing that where in human being we can see there's a conflict, and the only place where I got my full consistent answer, you see, when you read Jiddu Krishnamurti's books, even though now he's not alive, but you can go to YouTube. You see that it's the conflict in man. And take the responsibility for your life. Until when you come of age, before that, yes, I hope you have beautiful parents who bring you up in the most beautiful way and give you the freedom to decide for yourselves and not deprive others. Like I was a Muslim, I could see the effect, the bad, unhealthy side of me that I was practicing. And I wanted to leave it, but it was too late. I couldn't shrug it off. So I'm trying on myself, but still, I'm not saying that I'm 100%. I've shrugged everything off. And I'm stuck on this. So I don't have to come here. But also, like, my goodness, how can you believe in these things and slave girls? And then the Imam saying that there were no slave girls, that there were no slaves. Like there were no captives, there were no slaves, and slavery was abolished by Islam. So if you want to be deceived by your imams, 12 Shiyas, you see here, it says slavery. Which ayat was I on? What your right hands possess. No, wait, I'll go to now Surah Nur ayat. Commentary section. But after the ayat, Surah Nur ayat 33, here it says, let those who find not the wherewithal for marriage keep themselves chaste until Allah gives them means out of His grace. And if any of your slaves ask for a deed in writing to enable them to earn their freedom for a certain sum. Slave. Okay, this is a translation of Yusuf Ali. So it could be maids or something, I don't know. Give them such a deed if you know any good in them. You give them something yourselves out of the means which Allah has given to you, but force not your maids to now it says maids here to prostitution when they desire chastity, in order that you may make a gain in the goods of this life. But if anyone compels them, then yet after such compulsion is Allah of forgiving, most merciful. And they put in brackets to them, so it clarifies who Allah is to. A Muslim cannot satisfy. Okay. Kitab refers to a written instrument which allows a slave to redeem himself on paying a certain amount. This document obliges the master to set his slave at liberty on receiving the agreed amount which the slave collects either by his labor or by receiving donations from others. Slavery is now obsolete. Islam made it possible to put an end to slavery by enacting laws which, step by step, gave freedom to slaves. See the commentary of Al-Baqarah 177. To set a slave free was considered to be one of the most distinguishing qualities of a believer. Surah Baqarah 177. Step by step, Islam abolished slavery. Is it one? To spend needy. Let me see. Surah Baqarah. Or 117. For you have believed, prescribed for you as legal retribution for those murdered. Oh God, what is this? Concealing truth, Jews who conceal. The Muslims are warned not to act like the Jews who conceal that which Allah has revealed, and by error for right direction and punishment for forgiveness. Concealing of truth is compared to eating nothing but fire into the bellies, or reducing the soul to ashes. They are the ones who, by error, the doom. It is not righteousness that you turn your faces towards east or west, but it is righteousness to believe in Allah and the last day, and the angels, and the book, and the messengers, to spend of your substance out of love for Him, for your kin, for orphans, for the needy, for the wayfarer, for those who ask, and for the ransom of slaves. Here it is. To be steadfast in prayer and practice regular charity, to fulfill the contracts which you have made, and to be firm and patient in pain and adversity. And throughout all periods of panic. Such are the people of truth and Allah-fearing. So this is that Islam abolished slavery, and for the ransom of slaves. According to the Holy Prophet, whoever puts this verse into protection in faith, the theory and practice of piety have clearly been mentioned in this verse. Faith in Allah and welfare of the mankind have been founded as the essence of the religion of Allah, Islam. Please refer to the note written by Aka Medipuya. We don't in verse 148 of this surah. Righteousness is this, that one should believe in the unity of Allah with all its attributes, in the last day of judgment, in the angels, in the book of Allah, in all prophets and messengers of Allah, and give away wealth out of love for Allah to the near of kin, and the orphans, and the needy, and the wayfarer, and the beggars, and for the liberation of slaves, and keep up obligatory prayers. Qisas. In this verse, the law of qisas is set forth in detail. So you can read this if you are interested, the Shia side. And you would say, yes, this is a great verse. It's abolition of slavery and for the ransom of slaves. So you can free slaves. This is in Surah Baqarah. Okay, let me see. righteous too. Where's orphans? It is not the righteousness that you turn your faces towards the east and the west, but the righteousness is he who believes in Allah and the day, the last, and the angels and the book and the prophets, and gives in the wealth for it, spite of his love, to those near relatives and the orphans and the needy and the wayfarer and those who ask Sailina, and in freeing the necks, slaves, Raqabi. Yeah, here it says
الرقاب.
Ar-Riqabi are slaves, freeing the necks. I wonder if it is like freeing the necks. So this is slaves, Riqabi. Freeing the necks. And strike them. Yes. So sorry, I don't do research like the Muslims have been doing. Mine is different. So on one hand, freeing of the slaves. On the other hand, he's sending angels striking off their necks to the very fingertips. Some of it, some of the Quran ayats, I see they're very nice. They look nice on the face of it, but when I went deep into finding out, I don't think this is a true religion. I don't believe anymore. I saw my insight, through insight, that this is not a true religion. I will not understand it. It's been now in my 50th year, plus 50, and I don't. So, yes, freeing of the slaves, yes. Freeing of the necks. Those in the wealth, near relatives, for those near relatives, then the orphans. Because if you're near relatives, yes, first your near relatives. So anyways, thank you very much. I will continue later. I don't go by this Quran like this. It's okay. So let's see if next time when I come, maybe I've had enough. I really, yeah, sorry, I have to mention that my condition was terrible when I was coming here, and I was at the last ounce of my, I don't know, strength, how I have come here so far, even explaining the things. And I saw that there were people who were not, like, couldn't see the way I was showing them. It's up to you. And I was getting all worked up. On, I mean, I'm operating in negative energy now. Even now, I'm like, oh God, how am I going to rest? I've been resting, and so I just feel, I just see a very negative thing that no one is coming here to help me because also someone has done something here also on my channel. It's perhaps my channel is under invigilation, yeah, like through leaders or I don't even have that many followers. So I have this fear also that the Arab Muslims and all Shias, they will win. This time you will win. Uh, so I'm going down. I better lay low now. So good luck to you. Okay. But sometimes I have to come here and show you, ladies, girls, to if you are my kind of thinker, and I hope that apostates, those who leave also this religion, they can without any fear tell their parents that they have left this religion. And if I can show you a better way, if there is nothing inside to be seen, then I don't think anything outside, even if they are as pure, thoroughly purified, will be able to help you in seeing, because they will have to. I've done a contemplation on this many years. I wonder if you would see this and then agree with me that if no Jesus, no Buddha, no Narayan, no Krishna, uh, no God on earth even can show you, if it is not inside of you, how to cultivate or how to see it in you, the divinity, so we can make it easier for you and for myself. So for myself, for you is what I was wishing, and I'm in search of that, because no pure person, guru, can show you. They can give you the blessing, but will you value that? Will you value that blessing? Yes, if a guru blesses you with his grace and, takes the darkness away, maybe we can, but in a very peaceful way, right? You can be a criminal, and if a guru like Sri Sri Ravi Shankar Ji can set you free through his grace, through his yoga practices, goes into jail and gives the ones exercises and all this to do, and then you can come out of it. So you can do that. Oh, I have just not. I just took my mic off some time ago. So this I would like to share now before leaving is that I see some people very stubborn. They just cannot see. Uh, they think this God of theirs is, even if it's violent, it's good for them. Coercing them into this religion. So in the hereafter, it will be good for them. So I don't feel that is right. And with the, insecurity or this religion, dogmatic way, or even those people who say they've done research and they know their religion is true, how far have you gone with your research? So this also, just see, if you think that your religion is true, this Islam, and your research is true, then I'm giving you was Khadija, for example, my research. I'm asking, how can you say that the Jahilat period was terrible and go in to the wives of the Prophet when Hazrat Khadija wasn't even alive at the time? She wasn't wearing that. She wasn't in the house, perhaps. She was practicing the Jahilat time. So this, the late coming of this verse against the wives, that they should wear now be inside their houses. Why this? You see, if it's a universal law, then it should be operative since day one, since Adam came on earth. It should be the same for Bibi Hajra, for Ibrahim's wives, Sarah and Hajara, for Hawa, for Hawa, for all the Sarah, Hajara, all these wives from the day one of the Prophet's wives. So, or we can say that some changes may come, right? But we may bring, like God can, of course, it's good to change, reform, and bring the laws up to date or something. Modern times, though, I don't know how, but Islam's own modern time, not following another modern time, but Islam's own modern time. So then, why would this verse say that do not follow the Jahilat period? Since Hazrat Khadija followed the Jahilat period, and yet he married her. He practiced. So at least that God should not have put the Jahilat period in that verse. But he wants to put the polytheists down, I think, all the time. Although Hazrat Khadija had followed the polytheist business way, and even she did not do this hijab and go in her house, you know. So this point also. So when you go into a religion, or now I cannot, yes, I can tell you leave this religion, but be very careful because you might be killed, you might be harassed, you might, the Muslims, some of them, it depends on what kind of Muslims your parents are, your family members are, you might be killed, you might be harassed, annoyed, they might act sternly with you. And so, and I got the insight that this is not a true God. So I'm taking a chance and leaving this. I've left this religion. I took a big chance. But was I naive? So hopefully I pray to that true God, so that who has put this life and, you know, that gives me the strength to bear whatever harassment or tactics the Muslims use to want to bring me back into this religion of theirs, or want to defend their religion. Whatever tactics they use, may they fail forever. And, you know, but these Muslims are going to give me a hard time because their religion gives them a lot of, religion. And this religion is for the ego, I feel. So, the ego, even the gurus and the Hindus say about the ego. So it may seem to you that this Muslim man, oh my God, he's great. He's got great manners. He's very generous and, very understanding and all that. But that's like, should you, on that, embrace Islam and trust the person? Because think of the other women. Think of those who want to, think of divorce cases. I'm thinking of my aunt. Think of the aunt her husband would not come to her. And yet, he did not give her a divorce for several years. And no one intervened. she was pleading for a divorce from her husband. She had done nothing wrong to her husband. And you know, the religious scholars could not intervene in this matter, perhaps because he was the husband. And they let her punish her for nothing. Maybe he didn't like her one habit or something. He got turned off. I don't know. So he just sent her back home with his daughter, infant daughter, and he wouldn't give her a divorce. And she couldn't unless he signed the documents and gave her khula, accepted her khula. From the woman's side, it's khula. And he was in Oman, and no one helped. Maybe no one could, because the husband is given so much right in Islam that no religious scholar can have a say in that matter or intervene. Don't know. So these kind of things, cases that I've seen in life, and about women, slave girls through the Sunni way, these captive slave girls, what your right hands possess, they were in the Sunni hadiths we see, they were used, how they were used. So maybe the imams kind of covered that up, you know, your love for the imams and all. And yes, we will be that kind of other kind of kaneez for Fatima, for the imam. But you don't see that he did marry or have sex with slave girls, captive slave girls. And what the Sunni Hadith says about Safiya, since he freed her, we're told he didn't have to give her dowry. So the Imams have covered it well, Prophet Muhammad's progeny also. And but there is a ayat which says free the slaves. But what about what your right hands possess? What about the captives? Okay? And what about inheritance law? How much the daughters get, how much the sons get. And the sunnat of a daughter who has to marry, of a Muslim girl. All these things are there, and there are different views also. So I want a book simple for myself, my life, so I can make my life better, breathe and let others breathe, live and let others live, as long as I don't encroach upon other people's rights and religion, whatever they want to follow, whatever they want to leave, whatever they are discovering, and still in the process of discovering a truth, let that be. Don't force things on others. I don't think a great God would be punishing you, putting you in hell. And it's just not right. Someone did tell me this, an ex-Shia Buddhist. He had become a Buddhist. And he was saying, what is this? That Allah is burning and burning people in hell. But he's passed away now. So he told me a secret. I don't want to get him into trouble or anything. Okay, that he had left Shia Islam altogether, and he was saying, "What is this? This is a merciful God. At least the Buddhist thing is better. That Allah will burn and burn and burn you, disbelievers and all this. Even what a Muslim here like Salahuddin would think that it is fair." But someone else doesn't think it's fair of this Allah to do this. And he must be a false Allah, not a true Allah. Okay, so please consider all these points and give people the freedom to choose. because freedom is a virtue, not acting, not cultivating what is, what is cultivated through discipline and hard work and all that. But freedom is a virtue you need to embrace for yourselves and give others this thing to embrace this virtue of being free. Thank you so much and value it. Thank you so much.